It's going to be that time of the hour. And you know what time it is, folks? It's time to look at Strahd, stare him straight into those illustrious, gorgeous eyes, and say those words he's been longing to hear. Drop 'em. How undignified indeed. Grace, how are we? I love the energy. That's the kind of energy the two biggest ADHD heads of the podcast / stream need to bring. Okay? You've just finished work. I just finished a 16-hour day. We are wrecked, but we're ready to talk D&D. Okay, to get us in the mood, I actually organized something. Because I know everyone's favorite character of... I know that everyone's favorite character of the stream is, obviously, we'll say it at the same time, 3, 2, 1.
Not
Bright
Thana.
Eyes.
Oh, yes.
What did you say?
I said not Thana.
Oh, well, yeah, not Thana either. Definitely Bright Eyes.
Yeah, obviously. He's gonna die, though.
So, to give him that edge, to make sure Sven wouldn't dare kill him, like I like to always try and overstep the bounds between player and DM, just to make Sven feel uncomfortable. So,
yeah.
Last time I did that by attempting to sneak a magical item into the game through William's backstory.
Yeah.
This time, hang on a sec, I'm going to double check our audio is coming through all right, because I've got a little bit of, I'm a little bit scared after the last session we had with Sven, where half the session was spent without audio. So I'm just going to quickly give it a testy test. Go for it.
Me talk.
Yes.
Yes, I'm talking. It's talking. Hi. Hi, everyone.
Yes.
I'm
Yes,
Grace.
I'm talking.
Oh,
It's talking.
yeah.
Hi.
I can hear myself.
Hi, everyone.
Yes. Now it's going
I'm
to
Grace.
remix.
I'm
So it's going to
talking.
play over the top of each
Oh,
other. Ready?
talking. Hi.
I can hear myself.
Hi, everyone.
Yes. Now it's going
I'm
to remix.
Grace. I'm
So it's going to
talking.
play over the top of each
Oh,
other. Ready?
talking. Hi. I can hear myself. Hi, everyone.
Yes. Now it's
I'm
going to remix.
Grace.
So
I'm
it's going to
talking.
play over the top of each
Oh,
other.
talking. Hi. I can hear myself. Hi, everyone.
Yes. Now it's
I'm Grace. I'm
going to
talking.
play over the top of each
Oh,
other.
talking. Hi.
Drop the beat and get ready. Go. Whoa! Is that the most amazing thing you ever heard in your life?
I hated everything.
Welcome to Barovia.
Why the fuck would you do that?
Why, how could there be anything more terrifying than both of our voices on repeat over the top of each other to the point where the loop becomes an incessant growl? Speaking of growling, I'm about to send you through something that I worked very hard on.
Yes.
Okay, so this is a dramatic reading. Now, you and I will be playing different parts.
I love
You
that.
will be playing the part of Bright Eyes.
Okay.
So you have to make this the most endearing role you've ever done in your life, where there's so much emotion put into it that Sven couldn't possibly kill off the character Bright Eyes without just absolutely devastating the fans. Okay?
And you chose the previous actress for this. That was very smart planning on your behalf, I have to say.
I also thought it would be putting too much pressure on Gemma and Sven's relationship if I did this roleplay with Gem and then he killed it off. Because that would be like ultimate insult. So I'm putting all the pressure on you, Grace. Because I think you could take it. All right, so
I can do that.
I'll lead you in. Now,
Okay.
in the brackets after each of the lines is your motivation, but I only want you to read / act out the writing before the brackets.
Yeah, no, it's alright. I've read a script before. As I said, I used
Do you
to be an
have the script in the messages right now?
Yeah, I can see it. I have
Okay.
the script.
So,
It's all good.
the howl of the blood moon. Oh, hang on. Oh, the crowd. They're very excited for our dramatic reading.
I'm
Okay.
excited.
A clearing beneath the blood moon. Shadows stretch through the trees. Bright Eyes, a young wolf with shimmering silver fur, faces his mother, a scarred and battle-worn she-wolf.
Okay.
End scene. Oh, hang on. Nope, wrong one. Nope, hey, no, hang on, sorry. Ow, 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 ow.
We just did all of that so Sven didn't kill Bright Eyes, and Rod just goes and fucking shoots them both.
I think that's the story of how Bright Eye's parents must have died, I guess. It's horrible.
Rod just kills them.
The crowd does not seem happy.
Oh, that was.
So,
Oh,
as I said to Dan when I talked about the game, and I said never tell Grace about the things I said in our video, I'm now saying
Yeah.
to you, never tell Gemma about this video. I'm going to slowly make the entire cast not be able to talk to each other from all the secrets they hold.
sounds good.
All
I
right,
won't
so
say a thing.
Grace, it's always a pleasure
Yes.
playing with you.
Always a pleasure
this
playing
ti-
with you too.
Oh, amen. And with you. Oh my God, we should totally make a D&D blessing.
Oh my god, we
Like-
should.
Pleasure playing with you. And with you.
I still to this day, like, it is like a common joke in my family that I can't enter a church without burning. So
Hell yeah.
yeah.
Well, I think it's one of those things that I remember the last time I went to church and I went to walk in and my brother hit me in the eye with a bamboo stick and I got a splinter across my eye. And I was like, it must be a
Oh.
sign from God. Stay the fuck out of my church.
I remember, like, so I've always gone to Catholic schools. I went to a Catholic primary school and I went to a Catholic all girls high school. And in primary school, I remember drinking holy water
Oh my God.
out of the tabernacle, not the tabernacle, the blessing pots
Oh, wow.
at the front.
Yeah,
So
I know
I
the ones, yeah.
literally- Yeah.
You went
so
to
they're the
a
ones with
proper
the-
Catholic school. That's like the
I
Roman
did.
Catholic.
I did. So I picked it up and I sculled it as a joke. I got in so much trouble. Like, so much trouble. That
As well
I
you should, you harlot. Drinking the holy water.
Well, and I still remember when. So I've done my communion and all that stuff as well. When I'm not sure if people are familiar, but when you do your communion, you have to pick the name of a saint, and that's like your saint's name. And I wanted to pick Saint Helga. I'm not sure if do you know who Saint Helga is, Mon?
I used to. Let me actually think. Who is the patron saint of?
I don't know what she's the patron saint of. I cannot remember, but she is badass. She murdered a whole bunch of people.
Oh, dang.
Yeah. So essentially what happened was there was a fight between her and a neighboring kingdom and they killed her husband. So they actually gave him an angel wing treatment, which is when they like cut people's spine in half and flay them
Yeah.
into trees.
I'm familiar.
And then
I call it Thursdays.
and the king from that kingdom said to Saint Helga, like, "You're gonna marry me now." And she was like, "Get fucked," pretty much. Um, but then she's like, "Hey, I actually kind of want to get revenge on him." So he's like, so she said to this king, she's like, "Send your most powerful men, and I will like form a procession in the town, and I will carry the boat through the town, and they will come and fetch me, and I will come and marry you." So he sends all his most powerful warriors in like a boat, and she gets all of her military men to pick up this boat and carry them through town. What this king did not know, and what the men in the boat didn't know, was that she dug a pit and filled it with spikes. And
Oh.
they threw the boat into the pit with the spikes and killed all those men.
Oh my god.
And then she taught a bunch of doves and pigeons to carry bits of stick that were flaming and sent them into the kingdom and burnt the whole kingdom down.
Oh Jesus.
Yeah. I wanted
Another good choice is my personal choice, which is the patron saint of the engineers. Of lightning, explosions, and combat engineers, Saint Barbara. And she basically was getting executed as a witch or something, and supposedly swallowed a whole heap of explosives or something, so she went off with a bang and took everyone with her.
I love that.
Yeah, it's baller. That's pretty cool.
I love so I actually ended up picking Mary MacKillop.
Yeah. Good one.
So she's the patron saint of education.
Mm.
And she got excommunicated from the church for teaching girls how to read.
Well, to be fair, she's done a lot of damage.
Yeah.
Next
Blame
thing
her.
you know, my wife will be reading her nuptials and find out that she's married to me, and then I'll have to get a divorce because she finally found out the truth. I don't know if I told you this on Monday. Did I tell you what my wife did for me on the weekend?
No.
She threw me a surprise 50th birthday party.
Oh my god, you did tell me that, and it was a surprise because you didn't.
Because I'm 39. I'm 39, and she threw me a 50th birthday party.
That shit's hilarious.
I love that woman. She literally floats my boat in a very Helga style way.
That is so cool.
So,
that is fucking hilarious.
Yeah. Oh, dude. We literally sit there. When I send her a joke on the phone, she gives me a rating out of 10. How funny the joke is.
That is so funny.
We have to keep an 8 rating, otherwise the messages stop getting answered. We're very, very crucial in our comedy. So
I love that.
First thing I want to say is, I love Thana. Love everything about it. Some has given me some trepidation, and I have had some sleepless nights trying to work out how much of it was planned when I got tricked into mansplaining the Death Domain religion by you. I'm still not sure whether that was intentional or whether it just worked out. Don't tell me, because I think it'll bother me to the end of time, because I was like, I don't know what to do.
I did not plan that. It was just perfect.
It was perfect. It was literally perfect. And Grace, I'll tell you now. I said to Dan, I said, I'm not sure if she's 190 IQ, but she hasn't realized it yet.
No, I did not.
Yeah, because that literally was if there was any button you could press in D&D, philosophy of death and meaning is one that you can get me with. All the other stuff I'm fine with. You can talk about slavery till the cows come home, and I'm just yeah, it's good economics. Imagine paying someone nothing for a shit ton of work. Great, you're going to save a bunch of money. But if you start talking about meaningless deaths, I'm like, you don't understand. Every life has meaning. You gotta
Well, I think the thing with Thana is that she's not saying that life doesn't have meaning. She's saying that that life is inherently full of suffering.
Yeah.
I've sort of equated to Buddhism almost.
Yeah. No. Funnily enough,
Yeah.
that idea of suffering is actually in Christianity as well. The walk of the cross, with Jesus walking the cross up the hill, that is literally something that people can talk about for like 20 hours about.
Yeah.
That's a metaphor for life, carrying that cross. And if you are walking and it feels like you're not carrying a cross, then you're doing life wrong and you need to pick up a bigger cross. And
Yeah.
and that's where you get your meaning. So I love that. So
Mm.
when it came to Thana, was Thana always a tiefling? And was she always going to be a cleric? Like, how did you come across that process? Was there other builds or classes you were looking at? And I know the answer is yes, so don't try and lie to me, Grace. Don't try and lie to me. I know the answer is yes. I'm doing this for the audience. I want the audience to hear this.
So I was telling Maud as I was driving over that I have a very interesting process when I create characters. I pick a song and I listen to that song on repeat while I go through Pinterest looking for character art.
Hell
I
yeah.
find the character art and then I write a short story and then I pick the class.
That is perfect.
Yeah. So Thana was, oh god, I feel like we already know what she is, so I don't want to spoil it. But so it was between this and a rogue.
Yep.
And the rogue was essentially so I was kind of, when I was like making this character, I was like, I want something that's like death adjacent.
Yep.
Like something that I knew I didn't want to play a conventional cleric. And I knew that I kind of like, I'd never played a rogue before, so I was like kind of like half interested. And I was looking at those classes that particularly dealt with afterlife.
Yep.
And so I think I looked at a spore druid. I looked at I think it's Death Ranger.
Yep.
I looked at
Dreamstalker.
some sort of assassin rogue
Yeah, there's
archetype.
the Phantom Rogue. And
That one.
yeah.
It was exactly that. And then I looked at two types of clerics, being the Grave Cleric and the Death Cleric.
Love them.
I think what attracted me the most to the Grave Cleric was how interesting the philosophy was. So it's very much, see, I thought it would be all about like it's saving people from the grave, but it's actually more like keeping people in it. So it's an archetype specifically designed for killing undead things, which just in a Curse of Strahd game
Could
is
come
just
in
like,
handy,
why
yeah.
the fuck would you not?
Yeah.
But they've also, I thought was so interesting, there's actually no healing spells recommended in the build.
Yeah, well, I actually was one of the questions I was gonna ask was, like, does your deity not grant you healing spells? Like, are they entirely barred from you, or is it a choice? Like, is this a moral stance or a limitation of your faith?
That's a very good question. I think that
Is there a
the
chance?
way...
Before you answer, sorry, I'll just throw in a
Yeah,
little
no,
thing.
you go. Yeah.
Is there a chance that in the future there may be a healing spell come out if one of your friends are in peril? Like, is this a line that you would never cross?
I think it is a moral thing for
Yeah.
her. I think that so the way I sort of imagined it in the short story that I wrote, and I'll have to share it with everyone sometime.
Yeah.
But it's got some things in it that I've been working on very closely with Sven.
Yeah.
And so I can't share it with you because it would ruin things.
No, that's all right.
But
I just said when I was talking to Dan, if there's anything that you're not going to, like, you're not ready to share yet, or it's still in the background, just say not discussing that. Move on. We don't want to have any spoilers here.
Totally.
No, it's
all right.
Never feel pressured. This is a fun stream where we have fun.
I'm very good. Look, being a social worker, I'm very good at saying things without saying them. So
Excellent.
It's so fine. But I think the way I sort of fashioned it was because everybody knows that I love a good barbarian, and I love a good bear token barbarian particularly. And a big part of the token barbarians, at least in my head canon anyway, is that in a cloister of druids, so in a circle of druids,
Yeah.
occasionally they're gonna have to have a barbarian to protect them.
Yeah.
So that's how bear totem barbarians came about, and they became the warriors that protected the circles of the druids so that they could be safe, and they sort of lived together in harmony. It's kind of that sort of similar thing,
Yeah.
where I would say that there is a cloister of Hades worshippers that she's from, and it's like a very extremely niche cult that's like living somewhere in a rundown castle. There's probably like 200 or 300 of them, and there's very specific people who are healers, and only they are healers.
Yeah. No, I love it. Like they're like the arc something, and they have that job, and everyone else is to put down the evil.
Exactly.
Love
Like, and I feel like even then, that healing would be so situational. Like I was actually thinking when I was building that character, where is the line drawn?
Yeah.
Because obviously I have spells like resistance and spare the dying and all that stuff, and it's like, where would Thana draw the line at that? Because I feel like spare the dying is a no-no.
Yeah.
Because if that person's dead, they're dead, and she's
Yeah.
not bringing them back. Like, absolutely not.
Yeah,
But
I hear.
resistance, however, I feel like that would be a line that she'd be willing to toe, because it gives that person a chance to
Yeah, I'm trying to
defy.
think what the
Like,
spell is. There's one, warding bond, something like that could be an amazing
Mhm.
spell. Because I believe
Yeah.
you've got a fair few hit points. Casting that on someone gives them resistance basically, and you take on the damage, half the damage for them, which is a really cool
Yeah.
spell.
Oh,
Like
that's a-
I love this concept, and like in my head, I was like, if I'm DMing this campaign, I'm giving you an item like a healing potion, but it's a sentient one, and when you go to use it, it like time sort of freezes, and it's like, so what are you doing, Fräulein? Oh,
Yeah.
you think you should heal this friend? Is this right? Well, how about we sit down and talk about this? Is this a... And you have like a moral conversation with the healing bottle to see whether you should heal them or not. It's like,
Well, I think
yeah,
just like,
this is not with the natural order. You seem to be stopping this person from dying. They're natural. Yeah,
yeah.
I love the moral quandary.
And like, so I've pulled up the grave domain spell list just because I feel like this was like really what got me.
Yeah,
So at first level, you get Bane and False Life. At second level, you get Gentle Repose and Ray of Enfeeblement. At fifth level, you get Revivify and Vampiric Touch.
love that.
Seventh level, you get Blight and Death Ward. And
Nice.
then at ninth level, you get Anti-Life Shell and Raise the Dead.
Oh yeah.
So I just thought that it was interesting that a class that's all about putting, like, making sure things are dead, why have they got spells like Raise the Dead? Like, why have they got necromancy spells?
Oh, my guess is I know it's hypothetical, but I want to answer it. My guess is that they're like, oh, I'm getting pretty good at controlling this whole people stay dead thing. Look how good I can control it.
Yeah, literally. And I just thought,
Arise.
well, that's the concept, really. I just thought how interesting, and even the description. So, gods of the grave watch over the line between life and death. To those deities, death and the afterlife are foundational parts of the multiversal workings. To resist death or desecrate dead's rest is an abomination. Deities of the grave include, like, for example, Hades, which is the one that Thana worships. These deities teach their followers to respect the dead and pay due homage. Followers of these deities seek to put restless spirits to rest, destroy undead wherever they find them, and to ease the suffering of dying creatures. Their magic also allows them to stave off creatures' deaths, though they refuse to use such magic to extend a creature's lifespan beyond its mortal limits.
Mm.
So I just thought it was such an interesting ethical
Yeah.
dilemma
I'm
because
still
it's
processing that.
I know, because it's like there very well could be a cloister of Hades worshippers that are the exact opposite to Thana, who, you know, are really huge on protecting the lives of those people and, you know, are really huge from keeping people from dying.
Like
But instead,
in my head, I'm like, I can see a rationale where they say past normal limits means if they're a human and they're under 80, they're keen to push that life on more and keep them alive. So like you could have sex. Sorry, let me rephrase that. There is no. What's another word for sex? I can't say it. I got a lisp. It's a word that doesn't.
like, in
You could have groups, religious groups, that are like incomplete. You know, like a tribal. They're fighting each other because they literally. One side's like extend life to its maximum. The other one's like let them all burn.
Well, that's what I thought was so interesting about this. In my headcanon with Thana, and part of that short story was that she sort of reminds me of Shadowheart in that I think a long time ago there was probably a much bigger cult that worshipped Hades. And then that exact moral quandary came up when one of their elders started dying, and they were like, okay, they've got cancer, they're gonna die. Should we fix the cancer, like using like a restoration spell or something, because we have the capabilities to do that? Or should we allow that person to die because that's a fate that Hades has chosen for them?
Yeah.
And then somehow some sort of rift happened and they separated. And then I think that's part of why that hate, like Thana's sect sends their young ones off on this like soul searching sort of journey.
Yeah. Yeah.
So that they can make that choice. And that's something that I always respected about what are they called? You know, the ones that make butter?
Churning.
Yeah, the butter churning, not Mormons. um,
Amish.
yeah, Amish, exactly. Was that they
I
have
thought you were
like
talking about the tool, and I'm like, it's a butter churn, isn't
no,
it? You mean the
they
people?
make butter.
Okay, yeah.
Amish people make butter. I don't know. They send their young people off for I think it's a period of 5 years.
Yeah.
To like you know go and experience the
A
world and
pilgrimage.
learn things, and then decide whether that life is for them. And I think that's I don't know, like I thought that was such an interesting concept. What if this person who'd been literally living under the same rules with very set beliefs, everybody around them thought the exact same thing,
Yeah.
has just gone into this world where everybody thinks that death is this horrible, awful thing, and she's just like, death is the best thing since sliced bread. What
Yeah.
the fuck is wrong with you people?
Oh yeah. No, I'm picking up on that. So
Yeah,
I've got two questions. Okay.
I love questions.
Within the group, does she see herself as a pilgrim learning, as a guide to the ways, or a protector slash like a guide for the group, or a protector of sort of morals and death and whatnot, like a ward? Does she see herself as a student learning, or is she confident and she feels she knows it all and she's just experiencing it? Where does she see herself in the party?
I think at first she very much felt that she's like, no, I'm like pretty strong in my conviction,
Mm.
like, and then your character said that to her, and I think that was like the first time anybody had actually challenged her way of thinking, like in a way that made logical sense.
Yeah,
Like,
no, I hear. I'm still not sure if
yeah,
you manipulated me into actually saying that, because that was like the
I did
biggest trigger for
not.
me. That was no. Either way, it's a compliment. It means that you have great instincts, or you have great planning and devious cunning. Both are skills that will land you well in life. So it's a double win.
I think, yeah, no, I think that was the first time she'd ever been challenged in a way that made logical sense. And she was like, oh my God, like this fucking idiot actually has a point. Because I think up until this point, she kind of just thought they were all like just uneducated,
Yeah,
like,
of course.
like
Like they didn't go to her
ignorant.
academy, her people. So how would she didn't? They didn't learn from Master Quelno. So I made that name up.
No, totally.
But
But
yeah, Master Quelno. If you didn't learn from Master Quelno, how do you not? How would you know anything?
well, ignorant. Like she's just like these guys are, I think especially because obviously, she knows Fujin and I always forget his
Fritz.
name, Fritz
I came
from.
prepared. I wrote Fritz down on a piece of paper
Thank
here
you.
because I knew that would come up. I do my research.
Fritz's name is always the one name I forget, and I feel so
The
bad.
best way to do it is just think Fritz in hell.
But she met them first, and so she met them, and she's like, "Oh my God, uneducated. You're just ignorant. They're just absolutely ignorant. I need to come along with these people to save them."
Yeah,
Like, I think it was more of like a God complex thing where she's like, "These guys, I need to save them. Like, this is why I've been sent on this pilgrimage to save these people
yeah,
because they have no idea." And now that we're sort of in it, I think she's both the student and she feels like she's the guide.
yeah.
Because especially watching Fusion just fucking slash at that armor,
I
she was
love
like,
that so much.
oh my God,
The
could
only thing wrong
somebody.
with that is, like, I feel sorry for Sven for that night on the, like, that
It was so
it turned out to
done.
be hilarious when it moved. We're all pissed ourselves laughing. But realistically, if we walked past there and that thing, like, grabbed someone and attacked them, like, that would be very scary. And we're, like, reasonably low
Pissing
health.
ourselves.
Like, if that was anyone but basically me or you, it could basically one hit them, which
Literally.
isn't great in a party with no healers.
No.
So,
And
bad for Sven, great for us.
yeah. I think, especially watching that, I think the scales are constantly tipping.
Yeah.
I think, 1 minute she's like, I'm saving these people. This is what I've been sent here to do. Hades has sent me to save these people.
Yeah.
This was what I was sent on my pilgrimage for. And then the other minute she's like, oh my God, this is genuinely questioning everything I know about everything. Like when Fritz stepped into that fog
Yeah.
with her,
Yeah.
she was like, why the fuck would you do that?
Yeah, Dan had a great comment with that. I love that bit because I don't know if you know this, but I love roleplay in D&D. Like, I'm obsessed
Me
with
too.
characters. So, like,
Me
one of the reasons I do Debriefing Strahd is because if there's anyone out there like me that when people make decisions in game, I try and like, oh, why'd they make that decision? Oh, what in their past led them to that? Oh, what made them feel that? So, like, to me, a lot of that stuff forms the way I see the story and how I imagine it in my head. So this is a chance for me to come in, look inside, look under the hood, see what's happening, see what's led to these points. And what Dan said was that moment when you guys stepped into the fog and effed around and found out sort of thing. He goes, narratively, like, if we're trying to get through a module, that's like throwing an anchor out the back of the boat. Like, it's the story stops while we do this exploring. But it's also the most interesting thing that's happened in 3 episodes. And it was hilarious. It was fun. We learnt about the mist. We learnt about the characters. Like Fritz went in after you. Like those are the things that make D&D amazing. So like when he said that, I was like, "You're spot on the money, man." Like
Oh,
it's
totally.
the side quests on the way that make this story worthwhile.
100%. And I think what I had that thought too. Like so that roll when I rolled the 16 and the mist almost reached it, and Sven sort of described. I remember it so vividly. He described the mist reaching out for Thana.
I remember, yeah, it was good.
She, like, I was trying to think because I was like, Grace would not do that because that's stupid, and I know exactly what that does. But I think Thana, seeing that, like, she held up her holy symbol and it did nothing,
Yeah,
was like, okay, this is not undead.
yeah,
Flat out, like, I've been told all my life that if it's undead, they're going to shrink away from my holy symbol, black and white, absolutely nothing. But then it's also reaching out for her. And so there's that, like, curiosity
yeah.
where it's like, I need to know.
Yeah, no, 100%. It made. By the way, I am going to put a counter on this because you and I have the same trait where we say 100%.
We do. We do.
100% because that's an ADHD. Just so you
100%.
know, that's an ADHD thing. If you
Oh,
want
is
to stop
it?
it, it is. If you want to stop it, every time you do it, count 1 in your head and then 2. It's basically a gap filler to make your brain sync up with people.
Wow.
So it's
I didn't
basically,
know
it's
that.
like a lot of people use and stuff like that. When you're saying 100%, it's a subconscious thing to validate what they've said because you have heard them, but you're also thinking of a response. So
Yeah.
a lot of ADH people will say 100%, and what they're actually saying is, I hear you, here's something else.
Yeah.
And you
Oh,
and
I
I
didn't
know
even
that's
that.
valid. My wife does not believe it's a valid thing to do in the middle of an argument. 100% you're right, baby. However,
No, I do the same thing. Because I think I've mentioned a few times on stream, but I'm a social worker.
yep.
So I'm doing my Bachelor of Social Work. I'm in my 3rd year. I'm almost done. Yeah. Very exciting.
Very exciting.
But there's a whole way of talking that is so different to the English language. It feels so uncomfortable. Like when you're talking to clients, you're expected to like nod and go, mm-hmm, uh-huh, I hear you, mm-hmm, uh-huh, yep, 100%. And that makes people so uncomfortable.
Yeah.
And it's so funny because when I do it with clients, they feel so heard and so validated and they appreciate it so much. But like I slip into it occasionally when I'm at home and my partner Kieran will be talking to me and I'll be like, yeah, 100%. No, I totally get it. That's so right.
Yeah.
And he's like, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
And I'm like, I just want you to know I'm hearing. That's
I hear
how I
you,
tell
yeah.
you that I'm listening to you. And he's like, that is so condescending and it just makes me feel like you want me to shut up.
Yeah, people read it that
Okay.
way. That's not what it is.
No,
Yeah,
exactly.
100. See what I just did there? 100%. So
See, I
in my
say
head, I just said
exactly.
4. Because I'm trying to get rid of that habit. But it's like when you think of the Flash. When the Flash is watching people talk, he'd be watching it in 1/1000th time.
Yeah.
So it's very, very it'd be very hard to do. It's similar to that. Like we've sort of heard what you said, thought about it, come up with 6 responses, chosen the correct one, and then as we're about to deliver it, we validate what you say. Like, yes, I heard you. Here's another story that relates to that will be better.
No, I just about said 100%.
100%. 100. Hang on, decals, Sven. When you're editing this, 100%
100%.
across the whole screen.
I say exactly a lot. So I'll be like, yeah, exactly. No, I totally understand. Or I say I totally understand a lot. And it gets me in a lot of trouble with clients because they'll be like, oh, you know, my dog died and all this terrible stuff happened. And I'm like, 100%, I totally understand. And then they're like, how could you possibly understand? And
Because
I'm
I
like,
killed your dog.
it's like, I'm sorry for saying I understand, because I could not possibly understand what it's like to, like, not have any food and a house. I shouldn't have said that. I'm so sorry.
I'm trying to. There's a town. Oh, it's not Townsville. There's a town west of Brisbane. It's where I'm trying to think. The footballers' names everywhere, and it's Toowoomba. I think is that in Queensland?
Yes.
Toowoomba. It's at the top of a hill.
Yes.
Okay, Toowoomba. I was driving out there, and the Darren Lockyer Highway. So when you're at Toowoomba, you'll be driving down the Darren Lockyer. I think he lives there, or he lived there. Was born there.
Yeah.
Down the Darren Lockyer motorway. You go underneath the Darren Lockyer underpass. You go over the Darren Lockyer highway, over the Darren Lockyer bridge,
Oh
and
my
I
God.
see a sign that says "Lost Dog" with a picture of the dog. Somebody wrote on the bottom of the sign, "Found it," and the dog was at the bottom of the sign. I saw that. And I fucking pulled over and just shook my head for like 10 minutes. Because I was just like, I don't know how to process what just happened. Like, I'm looking at the sign. There's a number to call. He didn't call it.
And
He took the dog's
just
body
signed
and
the
put
dog.
it underneath the sign. And wrote on the sign. So he didn't call the number. Wrote on the sign,
Found it.
"Found your dog."
That is so messed up.
It's so messed up. And my first thought was, oh, that's so sweet. They found it. Then I'm like, did they find it? Did they kill it? Was the dog with them? And they were like, here's your fucking... I'm still bothered by that sign.
Oh my God.
But it might have been Darren Lockyer.
It might have been Darren.
I don't want to let... Checks out. I heard he lives around the area.
That is so funny.
It's really messed up. But
That is
here's...
so
Before we go on to a quick talk about the campaign and characters,
Yes.
we're going to keep it brief and won't go too long. I've got my timer going.
Okay.
My prediction, and you don't have to comment on this, and it's not a prediction, but it's more a, I told you I like to think about characters. And your character, we've said it's a death domain cleric and all that stuff.
Oh, well, a grave cleric.
Grave cleric.
There's a big difference. There's a huge difference.
So, and on a pilgrimage, very sure that healing's not the way. In my head, the only thing that could change that is if you had a bond for a character and you didn't heal them and they died and you regretted it. So that, in my head, that would be an amazingly, and I'm not trying to say that's a thing. I'm saying I love your character as it is. The only way I could see your character changing is if something traumatic happened and that regret was there, which would make her question the domain.
I completely agree.
Yeah.
That's exactly why I made her. You're actually completely on the money.
So there is a possibility that could happen if trauma is induced.
That is totally on the money. That is exactly what I was thinking. So, as Sven, when I was making this character and deliberating on whether
We
or not
can
she's
cut
gonna
this
be
bit
a
out
rogue.
if you want it to be a secret, by the way.
No, it doesn't have to be a secret. It's not a
Awesome.
secret. I'm fine.
Because I
When
love
was-
that. I really love this thought process. It's really
Yeah,
good.
when I was deliberating on whether or not she was going to be a rogue or a cleric, Sven was like, you guys are probably going to die at least once in this campaign, so be just pick whatever and then just make the other one as a backup character. And I was like, or
I like it.
yeah, so I was like, if Sven is so sure that we're going to die, I'm definitely going to do the cleric with the moral quandary about whether or not to heal people, because I feel like, and I know we did that whole thing with Bright Eyes, so it's actually so perfect. I think if something happened to Bright Eyes, an animal that's completely innocent, has done absolutely no wrong, because that's the thing. So the reason why life is suffering for humans in her mind is that humans do terrible things. We have free will, we make choices,
Yep.
and we do terrible things. And the reason why life is suffering is because humans do jacked up shit.
Yeah.
Animals are innocent.
Yeah.
Animals don't do anything. They're not sentient creatures. They act on instinct, so they're completely innocent. If something happened to Bright Eyes, I think that would be
Yeah.
the flip of the switch for her.
Yeah.
I think if Bright Eyes died, I think she'd resurrect him. And
Hell
I think
yeah.
she would switch domains entirely. I think she would probably switch from a grave cleric to a death cleric,
That'd
which
be
is more
amazing.
about protecting people from dying
Yeah.
than keeping things dead.
I love that. And like that is amazing. And let me just say this one thing to Sven from both of us. You hear that, Sven? We challenge you. We fucking dare you. I'm dropping the
Do it.
gauntlet as a player. I dare you to touch that dog. With the beautiful role playing we did earlier, and
Yup.
you've heard the damage it could do to one of your characters.
Yup.
Dude, you just I wouldn't go
Do
there.
it. Do it. See what happens.
We will burn down the patriarchy.
We will.
Hey,
Like,
did you notice
honestly-
that this D&D game is a patriarchy? The person in charge is a male?
A male who I've heard apparently doesn't like his wife very much.
I've heard that. And
I've
also,
heard that.
he doesn't like orphans either. Puppies. Hates
Oh,
puppies.
yeah. Puppies.
Hmm.
Bright Eyes is a puppy.
Exactly. It's horrible. So,
He's so
Um,
sad.
multiple... I have a question here, okay?
Yes. I
Um,
love questions.
who is your favorite character in the game so far out of these choices? Okay, William,
Choices.
Fritz, Fujin, Thana.
Oh my god. It's so hard because everyone's character is built so well. I have to say Fujin.
Incorrect. Guess again.
Oh, Thana.
Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, you guessed right. For those that don't know, Tana is my character. But no, Fujin is an amazing character. I love Fujin's energy. I love how it's coming out. I even like
I
the
just
fact
love
that there's like a special bond with your group. A very odd interaction with money in your group.
Yes. I love the way Fujin is built because it is exactly how I would build a character.
Yeah.
Like, everything about the way Christian has built Fujin scratches an itch in my brain that I did not know needed to be scratched.
Yeah, I do. Christian has a knack for playing that character, for playing a character that needs to be played. It is definitely something that I enjoy seeing. I actually think it's actually been... I said this to Sven as well. We've got an amazing group because we've got some independent role players that sort of do their own thing and try and move other people around. We've got people that are supportive. Like, I've never seen anyone support the group like Fritz has. In 3 episodes, she has an emotional support dog she's been sending around to people that need help. She walks into the mist with you guys. Like, amazing. Like, Gem's like, I haven't played before. I haven't played much before. She's
role player. She's so dynamic in the way that she manufactures interactions.
Yes.
Like, it is so fun playing with Gem because you never feel like anybody is the main character. She makes everybody feel so important, and it makes you feel so special because like even me, I sometimes, like, I know I can be really loud, and so if I feel like I'm being too loud, I will actually shrink back, and then Jem will purposely go out of her way to come up into like her character
boost you up,
to interact with me.
It's good.
And it's like, oh my god, I feel so seen.
Yeah, no, I feel the same. Like, it's awesome, and like she did the same for Fujin and for William and for Tane at a different time. I think Dan's play of William is something I could never do. Like, to go 3 sessions with purely, like, even in combat, just rolling, giving people the assistance, like aid, to, have an advantage on attack.
I would go crazy.
I would go crazy. I would go nuts. Just
especially us, like, me and you, we always joke about the fact that we're like in class recovery, like me not playing a barbarian, you
Warlock.
not playing a wizard,
Yeah.
or warlock.
That's me, baby. That's me.
We're sober. We're like, I'm like 30 days sober now, or like a month sober at this point from not playing a barbarian. And it's taking everything for me not to turn on Baldur's Gate to scratch the itch.
The reason I haven't played Baldur's Gate is because I'm waiting for patch 8 to come out, because it's the sex patch.
I didn't know that.
It is.
I didn't know that there's a patch coming out.
If you've ever seen an adult game on Steam, they've always got a cinematography mode where you can move characters around and bend them around and stuff.
Yeah.
They've made that for Baldur's Gate, so you can like remove clothes and like move them around. And I'm like, you just want naked Barbie dolls. Don't pretend this isn't a naked Barbie doll thing. Listen, Baldur's Gate people, we're on board. Just call it a naked Barbie doll thing.
Literally, I think
Girl, you're so cute. Oh, I love you, Kala.
When I describe Baldur's Gate to my non-D&D video gaming friends, I'm like, it is a dating sim with light strategy.
Can I tell you my secret? This is my secret. See, nobody will watch this video. This is mainly for me debriefing. And when I say debriefing, I mean debriefing. So, Baldur's Gate 3, I've never gone past Act 1, even though I've done over 400 hours playing.
What?
Because I finally sort of finished Act 1, and I got to the end, and on all the YouTube things, they're like, now listen, it doesn't matter what you've been doing. At the end of Act 1, there's like a little party at the camp, and everyone always gets laid. Nope!
Oh, that's not
I got
true.
denied by everyone. Everyone's like, no, you're not my friend. I don't like you. And I went, I must have played it wrong. So I went back and started again. I'm a BG3 virgin. No one will sleep with me. I've tried my best. I give people flowers. I even did the adult mode patch where you can have multiple partners. Still, they all just had sex with each other.
Too.
I was never involved.
My first playthrough, I was a bedtime barbarian, and I was chaotic good going after Astarion. I was lucky enough that he asked me at camp, but that first playthrough, I decided I was going to pick up every single party member. Every single one of them propositioned me.
What?
And I was like, this cannot be real. This cannot be real. I'm not even kidding. Karlach, Gale, Will, Lae'zel, Shadowheart, every single one of them.
I got rorted. This is bullshit. Referee!
I thought it was so bonkers. And then my second playthrough, because I've done so many full playthroughs at this point.
What?
Like the
finishing
full
the game?
Yep. I think I've finished the game like 3 or 4 times.
Wow, that's amazing.
Fully through.
Every time I've tried to do it, I get like to the end of Act 1, and then I'm like, let's do a different character. Whee! I'm gonna make another warlock.
I get 3/4 of the way through, and then I sort of make it to the point where they're almost finished, but I kind of already know that like what's happening at that point. But I've already like by that point I'm like 1/4 of the way finished from Act 3, so it's like basically the game is finished, and you just need to take on the absolute. But like every single playthrough subsequent to Astarion, I have had to fight so hard to get that particular party member that I'm romancing to proposition me.
I don't know what's going on. Maybe they changed the difficulty honestly, I think my wife might have got into my account and like turned off intimacy because she didn't want me running away with Karlak or.
Even Gale is such a simp. Like, he is such a simp. And the
Now,
fact that, like...
simp means where he'll allow anything.
Oh, no, that's a cuck.
Okay.
Simp is just like...
Remember,
he's
I'm
just-
50 years old.
Gale just likes good people. Like, he just falls in love with every single good person. He's so easy to romance because he's just... You do anything that's, like, basically good and you get Gale's approval.
I noticed you didn't kick that squirrel.
Approval.
Wow.
Oh! My boyfriend, I convinced him to start playing Baldur's Gate, and his first playthrough, he was like, I'm gonna be evil. I'm gonna be dirge all the way through. And it's so funny because, as I said, I've done so many playthroughs, and every single playthrough, I still find different shit where I'm like, I have never seen this before.
Yeah.
And my boyfriend was doing dirge, and I've never done full dirge. I've always done like dirge repentant or like
Yeah.
full remake. But he did dirge, and he kicked the squirrel into the tree, and the squirrel exploded.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I was like, what the fuck? And he's like, have you not seen this before? And I was like, no, I have not seen this before, Kieran.
Have you done talk with animals with a squirrel before you kick it?
No.
If you do speak with animals, you get into like a land war negotiation with the squirrel, where it's like, this is my territory, and you're like, listen, I'm just passing through. It's like, don't take another step, and then it like bites you and you kick it.
Oh my god!
It's quite fun. It's quite
I
fun.
definitely remember talking to the squirrel and it telling me to fuck off, but I think I turned around.
Yeah. When I did it, it said kick it away, and I was like, oh yeah, I want it to go away. So I did that, and the dude thought he was like Andrew Johns and lined up and like put it into the tree. And
oh my god!
I was playing with one of my friends, and when he did it, he just went silent for like 3 minutes, just like. And he's like, can we start again? I'm like, no. You did that. You have to live with that. Well, you have to live with that. He was fine when we killed the village, but the squirrel?
Oh, you killed the village!
Like, we literally just murdered everyone in the grove, and then we, like, came across the squirrel and kicked it, and he was like...
I think that is... Human nature is so fascinating to me. Like, when I went to Pompeii...
Yeah.
In Italy, there is they've got a whole bunch of resins that they've made where they've poured the resin into the stone to get the impressions of what positions people were in when they died. There is a dog and there is a pregnant woman, and apparently people feel more bad for the dog than they do for the pregnant woman.
Yeah. What position was the dog in?
Oh, it's pretty messed up.
Because the dog, like, yeah, that's horrible. Because, like, maybe the woman was sitting there praying, so she looks at Eve, and the dog looked like he was humping a leg, so he's, like, halfway through something when the thing happened, and he's
it's like curled in on itself with all of its legs
puppy.
up. Like, yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty messed up. But the woman looks very peaceful.
Yeah. No, now, when it comes to the campaign,
yes,
these are the last few questions. We started off in a tavern. We had some improv at the start with some bodies. Knock, knock, knock. Tapping for the bodies for Hades. Love that.
Yeah.
Then we met together as a group and we headed off on the road. We were walking. We did the mist thing. Go into the house. We're looking for Now, walking through that house before we got to the fight, walking through the house, robbing stuff and attacking wolves like statues and knights, what was going through Thana's head looking at the group.
As I said,
In it
I
to
think
win it?
it's in it to win it.
In it to win it?
I
Like,
think-
just chill. Like, just, it's one of those things. Like, I love the dynamics of our group because everyone has their reasons to be there. And it's, honestly, it's chilling sort of going through the room. I've never played in a Curse of Strahd campaign.
Mm.
And it's honestly a lot more stressful than I thought it would be. Yeah.
For me, I think Thana, she's such a difficult character to get my head into.
Yeah.
Like, because she is so the opposite of me. I hate thinking about death. Terrifies me. But she's such a difficult character for me to get my head into before a game. But I genuinely just think she's along for the ride sometimes.
Yeah.
Like, sometimes I don't even think Thana knows what she's doing.
Well, that's what a
Um,
pilgrimage is about. You're learning.
exactly. And so
And that's
that's
kind
why
of what I
I,
was sort of insinuating. Like, are you in it to win it?
yeah,
Are you just like in it to learn? And like everyone starts grabbing stuff, and you're like, let's grab stuff. You know?
literally, I think she's so, like, obviously, she has no fucking idea. I was thinking it's kind of like a halfway point between Corpse Bride and The Little Mermaid.
Yep.
You know, where it's like this like gothic element where it's like death, good, love, death. But then it's also like she has no idea. She has no concept of money. She has no need for money. Like
Nah.
money, what the fuck? Like, but Hades himself, he actually worships gold.
Yeah.
So, you know, Thana is covered in all this like beautiful sparkling silver. Well, sorry, not gold, but like beautiful sparkling silver jewelry. Like it's dripping from her horns. She's like,
Yeah.
all of her stuff is like embossed and it's, you know, but she has absolutely no fucking clue how much the clothes she's wearing is worth,
Yeah.
or like, you know, the cult that she comes from, all the, you know, the walls are painted in like these beautiful silver scrolls and all that stuff, and they've got all this gold, like more gold than you could possibly imagine, but they just don't, like, they have no fucking idea what any of it's worth. So she's just totally along for the ride. Like when Fujin started smacking the armor, she almost like half thought like, is this something that they do? Like, are those actual people in there?
Yeah.
Like, you know, because she just have no clue. So she was half thinking like, am I wrong? Am I doing this wrong? Like,
Well,
you know, should I be joining in?
it's one of those things. I literally, like, the reason I ask these questions is because I actually would love to know that. Like, in my head, it's one of those things. But like, William's doing his thing. I get that. Tana's doing his thing. Now I sort of understand where you're coming from. Like, from a pilgrimage point of view, you join in on the experience and you live and you experience it and you grow as a result of that. So that's awesome. Now,
Yeah.
this is the last question. Okay. How is Thana going to do in this next fight? What have you got in store for us?
See, I've been thinking about this, and this is so hard to answer because I've got a lot in the works that I can't really disclose.
Yeah.
But I think her magic is interesting. In that I've never really mentioned this, but she is actually an archer.
Oh. Hey guys, this just in. An archer.
Yes.
That's
So,
awesome.
despite the fact that she's a cleric, she's actually like
Oh, does that work
properly an
with
archer.
Divine Spark? Oh, I love this.
Yeah. So she she is all about the distance rather than being up in melee. You know, so I think it's going to be really
That's gonna
interesting.
be me. Sorry.
It's going to be really interesting for everybody to see how Thana fights, because she does not rely on her spells like clerics do.
Yeah.
She's not a support archetype at all. She is very much so a sniper, and I built her like a sniper. So
Oh yeah, I'm all in favor of a blaster cleric. Like
yeah.
a fighter cleric, like not it doesn't have to be a blaster, but like a damage dealing cleric. That's why when you said I'm not healing, I was like, yeah, cool, that's awesome. Doesn't
But
bother me.
not healing in the way that it's like debuffing
Yeah.
for me. So it's like the way I built her was I built her to be standing at the back of the party, sniping people while dealing like hex on them. So then they've got like a disadvantage to their armor class, and then she shoots them.
Yeah. I love it.
So she can dispatch undead perfectly well, but she can dispatch regular creatures perfectly well as well. But yeah, no, she's an archer. So I think it's going to be very interesting for everybody to see how she fights. I'm super excited.
I'm
yeah.
very excited to see it as well. And I did actually, looking at my list, I did forget one main question because we got excited and skipped over it.
No, that's okay.
What is the
I love
favorite part of the
questions.
campaign so far for you?
Oh,
And
I have so many favorite parts.
I know. Just you can rattle off a couple, but then talk about one for like 30 seconds. Like, just give us a snippet of why it's your favorite.
I'm so sorry. I'm so glad you put a timer on this. Me and you would just keep talking for
I know.
hours.
Like, I've got to do that, otherwise it'll go too long. But I need this answer because to me, this is the most important thing. Because there'll be someone that listens to this at some stage and goes, "That was my favorite part too. It was really good."
For me, it was the mist.
The mist was awesome. That was a great moment. It
But
said a lot about both
mostly
your characters.
You with the mist, like how you made Thana think.
Oh no, I love that. Yeah, it still
Yeah.
keeps me up at night.
That moment, because I didn't even think of that. And obviously, as you said, I didn't plan that. So the
Hang on, I'm just
fact
going to roll an inside check to see if I believe you. With
Go
this
ahead.
D2,
Go ahead.
this is a D2 dice. It
It's
looks
a
like a bottle
D2.
cap, but it's a D2. Now, if this
Heads.
lands face down,
Heads of
then you're lying
representation.
to me.
But genuinely, I did not plan that, and you actually gave me pause because I thought I
Aw.
had this character so well planned out, and I knew exactly what I was gonna do. She was gonna be so firm, and then I was like, hang on, wouldn't this moral quandary be like such an interesting like thing to do with the character? You're the one who like basically like made this whole moral quandary thing start, and I was waiting for somebody to do it.
See this,
And then it
people?
happened.
See this, people? This is why we play D&D, people. This is why we play D&D. Because we interact with
Exactly.
each other, and even though the characters are outside ourselves, they learn. And
Yeah.
like, because Tane's developing as well, and he's taking it on board, and everyone's sort of moving around.
Well, and Thana has so much respect for Tane because you were the only one who asked her questions. And I think that's why when you said that, she was like, oh my god, he sat down and he listened to my Mormon
Yeah,
speech.
would you like to hear about my Lord and Savior Hades?
Savior Jesus Christ, like you literally sat down and you listened to the whole thing non-judgmentally. We both went to like you would have sat down with her for hours and she would have talked and you were just listening. And
Yeah.
then you said that and she was like, oh my god, he sat down, he listened to the whole thing non-judgmentally, and then he actually brought up a really good point. Like, fuck, that actually makes a lot of sense. God damn it.
Yeah.
Like
I actually said to Sven, I said, this campaign is almost perfect. If you wanted to make it perfect, the best way to do that would be to remove me and put Ali in my place. Now, no, hear me out. Yeah, can I play that sound effect? I don't know how to play
Yeah,
that.
you can.
So, we both know Ali's amazing. You and Ali is especially amazing. And I told Sven, as much as I'd love to see it, that would mean I don't get to play with you and the rest of the people, so Ali can go fuck herself.
I'm gonna Don't tell her that.
But tell her with love. With love.
Tell her with love. I will, because I'm seeing her tomorrow.
Oh no,
so
please
I'll say
don't
that-
make her angry at me. She's like my sister. Oh,
I'll tell her that Mod loves you and that he misses you and he wishes he'd come play with us.
yeah. Come be a character that gives us items, an NPC, get
NPC.
a filler character, because we love her. But no, thank you so much, Grace. I really appreciate it. Hang on, everyone, give Grace a bit of an applause. And then one for me also. Really?
I gave you a round of
Oh,
applause.
you gave me one, thank you. But there was
Yeah,
crows
you're
in the
welcome.
background. But guys, this has been Debriefing Strahd, where we get under the hood, have a look what we got, and dive deep into those characters. Really find out the thought behind them and potentially where they're going. So obviously, nothing we've talked about here is locked in. But
No.
I love the way you developed your character from music. That's a very unique way that I've never heard before, and it makes so much sense because it's got that
Oh.
imagery. So.
Would you like the name of the song?
Yes, because I'm going to try and play it in the outro, or I'll get
Okay.
Sven to, because then I don't have to edit.
I'm pulling up because I have all of my D&D characters in a playlist that I feel like I need to share. But it is a French song called Donneurs de Nance.
How do you spell it?
Derenniere Danse. Yep.
Dernniere
Yep.
Danse.
Yep. And it's by Indelia.
That looks like the close dance.
It's very pretty.
But no, brilliant. I will look that up and see if I can throw it on the end of this clip. Just because that's some little inspiration. We can have Thana's picture. Hang on, I'll do Thana's. Oh no, I'm trying to make it blink on and off quickly. It keeps doing something stupid. Anyway, thank you so much, Grace. Apologize to
good.
Kieran for keeping you so long. Thanks for rushing home from work to do this, and thanks for
That's
helping
okay.
me drop them and debrief Strahd. I'll see you on Monday,
Thank you.
okay?
Bye.
See you later.